Hi guys, today we'll be dealing with something new. We're going to be analyzing an email, and for you to analyze an email, you need to understand what a phishing email is. And a phishing email are those fake messages that are sent by scammers that tricks you into sharing your personal information like your password, your credit card numbers, or your bank details. And these emails often look like that from trusted companies like banks or popular websites, and they include links or attachments that are designed to steal your information or infect your device with malware. So that is what a phishing email is. There is this website that has so many interesting labs that you can use for analysis, different types of analysis, and it is called the Blue Team Online. So this challenge that we're using is called the Planet Prestige. This is a challenge for email analysis. So we're going to click on it and wait for it to load, for the Planet Prestige to load. So now that our challenge has loaded, we need to read what the challenge says. So let's read it. So it says here, the Planet Prestige. Kokanda, a planet known as the heaven of the universe, has been having a bad year. A series of riots have taken place across the planet due to the frequent abductions of citizens known as the Kokandians by a mysterious force. Kokanda's planetary president arranged a war room with the best brains and military leaders to work on a solution. After the meeting concluded, the president was informed that his daughter had disappeared. Kokanda agents spread across multiple planets were working day and night to locate her. 2 days later, and there is no update on the situation, no demand for ransom, not even a single clue regarding the whereabouts of the missing people. On the third day, a Kokanda representative, an army major on Earth, received an email. So now you can see here that we're going to download the file, and you can also see that you can use a Windows operating system or a Linux operating system to analyze that email. But we're going to be using a Windows operating system. And you should note the password, which is BTLO in small letters. So, and you can see that it's an email file. So we've already downloaded that, right? So then we would click on the file that we downloaded. Also, like I said earlier, note the password because it is a locked file, so we need to input that password. So would locate the downloaded file from the file manager and would unzip it. We extract all, yes, and unzip it. Then would see the email file, and you can see that there is a password that we need to use. And don't forget the password, BTLO in small letters. Then after inputting your password, then you're going to open it. You're going to open that file with your notepad, not your email, because we want to analyze it, right? We are going to open it with any text editor that we have, and right now we are using our notepad. Now let's dive right into the analysis. So as you can see here, we are starting with the delivered to. That is the first thing that is here. So the delivered to is the email address of the receiver. Let's say I send you an email with my email address. Your email address so this is exactly what this is. And right here, it is the email address of the major on earth at gmail.com, which is the receiver's email address of the army. Of the army major that received the email. So the next part is the received by. The received by is the nearest mail server to that of the receiver. Let me give you an example. Back in the days when we want to send an email, the nearest post office to your address. Exactly, that is how this is. This is the nearest mail server, just like the post office, to the receiver. Now, let's move on with the analysis. We have the ARC seal, we have the ARC message signature. I want you to note the ARC authentication result. The ARC authentication result is more like a verification to show whether that email is real or not. So whenever you see the ARC set to pass or fail, if it's pass, it means yes, the email is real. Or if you see fail, it means the email is there's something fishy going on. You understand? Phishing email, something fishy. So now it can be SPF, it can be DMARC or any other type. And right now we are using SPF. Now, and we can see here that the SPL is set to fail, which is something that we need to note. Why is it set to fail? It tells us that Bill Jobs at microapple.com does not designate the 93.99.184.210, which is the IP address of the sender. Now, if you see this is trying to tell us that at microapple.com does not know who the hell that IP address belongs to, which is something fishy we should note. Now let's move on. Return part. The return part is more like a troubleshooting mechanism. Let's say the email fails to send due to one issue or the other. The person that gets back that email, that is the sender. So that is what the return part is. And right here we can see billjobs at microapple.com. We note that billjobs at microapple.com is the sender, and the receipt you can see received from a local host, which is that sender's IP or the mail server's IP address. Note that domain, which is MKS, because we are going to be analyzing it later. Now moving on, we see the received SPF, like I said, as we said, to fail, which is the authentication result. Now let's move on. We see the TOE, that is the person receiving the receiver's email address. This is the major on it at gmail.com. Then we see the subject, a hope to Kokanda from Bill. Note that name, Bill, which is the sender, billjobs at microapple.com. We see the X priority doing normal. We see the importance sent to normal, the error. So if there's any errors like the return part, it will be sent to billjobs at microapple.com. So based on everything, we can see that billjobs at microapple.com is the sender, and the major on earth at gmail.com is the receiver. Now let's look at reply to. Reply to is, let me give an example. Let's say I send you an email and you want to reply to that email. The email address of which that reply would be sent to is where that reply to is. So now on a normal norm, it is meant to be the sender's email address, but here it's looking suspicious because why is my reply going to an email address instead of the person that sent that email to me? So we need to note that billjob is meant to go to billjob at microapple.com, but instead, if I reply to that email, it will be going to negaja3921 at pashta.com, which is something suspicious. Another thing to note. Now we can see the content type. We can also see the message ID, which is something very easy to understand. Now we should know that the date can be spoofed, so we shouldn't rely on that, but just keep that in mind. Now you can see that it has been encoded to base 64. So we are going to copy that email, and we'll copy it to know we'll convert it to plain text so we can know what it's about. So we'll search for Cyberchef is where we are going to convert it to plain text. It's really helpful when trying to convert encrypted files to the normal version. So we would wait for it to load. Once it has loaded, we would paste our copied base 64 text into the input space. You can see that our file has converted to the plain text. Interesting. Let's read what it says. It says, "Hi, the major on earth. The abducted Kokandians are with us, including the president's daughter. Don't worry, they are safe in a secret location. Send me 1 billion Kokans in cash with a spaceship, and my bots will safely bring back your citizens. I heard that Kokandians have the best brains in the universe. Solve the puzzle I sent as an attachment for the next step." Attachment. Now let's just save this file as email.txt. Now we'll go back to our email analysis. Let's look at this. It says something about an attachment. So, this is it, which is the application the name puzzle to kokanda.pdf. This is the attachment he's talking about, which is also in base 64. So we have to copy everything. We'll copy the whole attachments, then would, as it is in base 64, would copy it to convert it to plain text also. It is a very long attachment, which means there is more than one thing in it, so we just have to copy everything. We have no choice. Then we'll go back to the Cyberchef to paste the input. The output is not something we can read, so we'll convert it to X. That is hexadecimal. So we'll convert it with that to know the file signature. This is going to convert it to hexadecimal, and this is hexadecimal. So we are going to copy the first 4 bits. The first 4 bits indicate the file signature. It tells us what type of file that is. So we'll copy it and we'll search for Gary Kessler file signature. So once we've clicked on it, it will take us to the Gary Kessler file signature. So we'll click on that one that has .NET. That is where we are going to. This is the Gary Kessler's file signature table. So we'll click on Ctrl F and paste it there. As you can see, this is a zip file. Interesting. If you note, the other time we saw PDF. Now, in actual reality, it is a zip file. Interesting. So we'll remove the X. Then we'll save it as attachment.zip. Then we'll go back to the file folder, or the file manager, sorry. Then we'll go back to the file manager and click on the attachment. We'll extract it actually. So after extracting it, we'll click on it. Then we'll see puzzles Kokanda. Then we'll see 3 different file. Yes. So we'll see 3 different files. We'll see that the first 2 are file, and the third one is an Excel file. But since we already had a doubt about it as first, so we need to verify all this information. We'll search for Xedit Online. Xedit Online is a website to verify file signature. It converts a file to hexadecimal format, just like how the Cyberchef is. But we don't need Cyberchef because it's already in just the file format, so we'll just copy and paste it. So we'll search for Xedit Online, then after that we'll verify the file signature. Let's do that. We will take the first, which is the daughter's crown. We'll drag it. We'll drag the daughter's crown to that Xedit to check the file signature. So we can see FFD8 FFE0. So that is the file signature. We need to verify to know what type of file it is. So we'll go to that Gary Kessler again. Then we'll verify it. As you can see, it's already becoming clear here. Now this is showing us that it's a JPEG file, which is an image file. So that means that the daughter's crown is an image file. Interesting. So let's continue our investigation. Then we'll go back to the file manager and copy the second file, which is the good job mail. We'll drag it into. We can see that the good job mail is a PDF file. We need to rename the files not to make any mistake again. So we'll rename the good job mail as goodjobmail.pdf. Then we'll rename the daughter's crown as daughterscrown.jpg. We would verify the money Excel file just in case to know if it's actually an Excel file. And as you can see, for the first time, it's actually what it is. So it's an Excel file. Now I want to know what the files are for. Let's look at the first one, which is the JPEG file, the image file, to know what the daughter's crown for. Wow, a crown. Okay, let's look at the next one, which is the PDF file. Okay, we can see here it says the Kokandians are safe. The proof is in the file named daughter's crown. Okay, that's the crown of the daughter. Location to send 1 billion Kokans is in money.xlsx. That is the third one. Okay, now interesting. Now we open the Excel file with the Google spreadsheet. I want to note one thing that I forgot to note from the beginning, and that is all this analysis is being done on the virtual machine, not my actual PC. Now let's read what the Excel file says. It says here that whatever you have seen or read till now is fake. Our intention was not for money. It is the beginning of the war with Kokandians. It's not that easy to find this mayor. I will also stay in the same location, but I bet Kokandians can't do anything in my planet. Find and come ASAP. I'm waiting. So the location. Now if we note, we are seeing here that there is a sheet 3 that is empty. That is suspicious. That means there has to be something in that sheet 3, and some of the things here are formatted, so we'll just clear everything. So we'll go to the format tab and format it all. We'll do the same thing that we did with sheet 1 with sheet 3. We'll clear all formats. Now we can see something in base 64 again, so we'll copy it. And then we'll go back to that cybersecurity that we were before to convert it to plain text to know what that base 64 is actually telling us about. Then we'll paste it. Now we can see here the Martian colony beside interplanetary spaceport. That is the location, what we've been trying to find since morning. So we'll see here what is the email service used by the malicious actor. So we'll go back to our analysis. We'll search for the email service used by the, which is something that has to be a domain. So here, the email service, which is the SQL. I have a bad eyesight, so I can't really see well. .cz. So we'll just copy it. We'll just copy to that domain and .cz, then we'll paste it. Let's see if it's right. So we'll paste it. Okay, we'll copy and then we'll paste and submit. Let's see. Exactly, that's right. Let's move to the next one. Like we explained earlier, what is the reply to email address? That is pretty easy. We'll go back to the analysis. We'll check for the reply to email address. Reply to. That's, I think that's that malicious one that looks different from the build jobs. So we'll copy it also, and then we'll paste. But moving on to the next, what is the file type of the received attachment which helped to continue the investigation? So the file type, you remember that it was PDF at first. That we had to do further analysis to actually find out what the actual file type is. It is zip, but let's confirm. So we can see here that it was PDF, but in actuality it is a zip based on our analysis. If you go back to check. So we are going back to check it now to see that it is actually a zip file. See attachment.zip. So we'll just write the zip there. .zip. Yay, we got that right. Now the next one is, it is asking what is the name of the malicious actor. We need the first name and last name. So if we go back to our email analysis, we would only see Bill in the first name basis. So, and we need the first name and the last name. Now there is this interesting tool that we're going to use for that. Let's just check. Let's just see it's bill job, just bill, and we need. So we are going to copy that reply to email address because that looks like the actual email address of the malicious actor. So we'll copy it. Now there is this interesting tool that we'll use for our analysis, and the tool is called EXIF tool. So EXIF tool is very, very useful if you want to find a particular information about a particular thing, whether the email address or a file or a file path or anything. If you want to find all the information about this, just use the EXIF tool. It's really, really very helpful. So this is the process. There are lots of information that we can find here, but right now we're looking for the first name and the last name of the malicious actor. So let's look down. Let's keep looking to see. I think it's up, not down. So we can see here more information. Have you found it? Okay, that's what we're searching for. So I think we've okay. Let's just keep scrolling down more. I think I've seen the author, which is Pastero Negeja. That is the first name and the last name of the malicious actor. Interesting. So we'll just copy it. So there are other information that you can find there, but that's actually what we are looking for. So we copied and pasted it there. Then with the location of the attacker's file, we went back to that CTF. We copied and pasted it there. Then the CNC, which is the command and control, which is the pasta.com of that Negeja email address, just the at pasta.com. That is the command and control. Now there is something I want to show you. Now you remember that domain server, which is the MK. So I try to because it is an analysis. We are searching for every bit of information about this. Now we are seeing that it is actually a fake mailer. It is used to for a to get a fake email address. So that is another thing to note. And that is all for our email analysis. For more information, you can just go online to search for it. That's all for now. Bye, guys.